This is a Pele Media podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in again to Goonies Minute. Goonies Minute is the fan podcast where we explore the 1985 classic Goonies minute by minute. I am Brady.
And this is Chris.
And today we are joined by the one and only Miss Crystal Beth. Crystal, how you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah?
I've never been better in my life than I am right now.
Well, that's good to hear because, here we are right at the verge of a new year and everything. How was Christmas?
Oh, you know what? It was Christmassy. I went home for the first time in 5 years.
Really?
It was really nice. I got to see my grandparents who I haven't seen in forever. I got to have a delicious Italian seafood Christmas Eve dinner. That's so good. And I'm going to draw a picture of it. It was so good. I don't know what that means, but that's what I did. And I got a pony.
Oh, my
Really?
God. I've got an older brother who, when he was a little kid, all he wanted was My Little Pony for Christmas.
Aw,
All
which
he
one?
wanted. And I don't know. I can't remember. But he would kill me if I said his name.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, I can't wait to figure out which one that was.
Right.
Right? It's a good thing you have 12 brothers, so we can never guess.
Exactly. Anyway, well, I tell you what, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get into the minute.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
In the previous minute, we saw Mikey and Chunk debating what to do about the broken statue right as Mrs. Walsh and Rosalita arrived. At 10 minutes, Mrs. Walsh introduces Rosalita to the boys and explains that she is going to be helping with cleaning the house before the demolition. She goes on to explain that Rosalita does not speak a word of English. At 10 minutes and 22 seconds, Mouth politely volunteers to translate the instructions from English to Spanish. At 10 minutes and 40 seconds, Chunk asks Mikey with a mouthful of food if his mom is going to notice the broken statue. Mikey assures Chunk that she is going to notice. At 10 minutes and 50 seconds, we cut to upstairs where Mrs. Walsh is telling Rosalita where certain clothes go in the dresser. Mouth is gleefully awaiting the opportunity to tell Rosalita something far different. And thus ends minute 10 of the Goonies. Well, before we go over this minute, Crystal, I want to ask you, what your experience with the Goonies is. Do you have, a first memory of having seen it or anything?
Okay, so The Goonies is one of the only movies that I saw in my childhood that I can remember specifically. Well, okay, so it's really hard to describe, so I'll just tell the story.
Okay.
So, I used to have a lot of dreams when I was a child about there being a secret passageway in one of my rooms that led to a bigger room.
Really?
That had a bunch of bunk beds and stuffed animals all over them. And I dreamt about that almost every night. And as I got older, I would dream about it, but it would be dusty because I hadn't been in there for a while. Mm-hmm. And I kept having this other dream about a pirate ship and waterfalls all around it and it being in a cave. And I would have these dreams and I would wake up and I'd be like, but I know that this is a real thing. I know that this actually exists. And I guess I had seen Goonies at one point when I was very young.
Yeah.
3 or 4. And when they first see the pirate ship, that image stuck with me so much that I kept dreaming about it. So when I was maybe between 10 and 13 years old, I saw the Goonies again for the quote unquote first time.
Yeah.
But realized that I actually knew the movie really well. So I think I watched it a lot when I was younger. So when I watched it at that age, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the pirate ship I've been talking about. And no one knew what I was saying. And this is it. And this is what my dreams have been about. But they're not really dreams because these are actual memories I have.
Yeah.
It's your
And
deja
it was
vu.
about the Goonies.
Dude, that is incredible. That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool to hear, people's first experiences with any movie, really. But Goonies is just, it's the ultimate, kids movie because, I don't know, man, it's one of those things that's just so hard to articulate. But it really speaks to the, I don't know, era of growing up, for people of our generation. The Goonies, it was just so
you get
true.
These kids that are...
Yeah.
They're doing something to hopefully help their parents, and that's what kids don't have a lot going on when they're younger. So when you picture yourself a hero, it's generally to help out either your friends or your family. You don't think too much outside of your small bubble. And this movie takes that and brings it into this fantastical place where everything's just hard enough for a kid to do, but easy enough for a kid to get through. Like, this is Uncharted for tiny humans.
One of the things
It's great.
that we had talked about earlier is this is a very empowering movie for kids. It's because how often when you're a kid, you're around a bunch of grown-ups, you know, like you said, Crystal, they don't have a lot going for them. And then if you're ever in a situation where that adult empowers you, or you get to solve the adult problem and do something, there's a sense of accomplishment that you would never have had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
true. And it's the way the movie follows the kids too. You can see which kid is like your friend that you had growing up.
Yeah, and there's so many different shades of personality here that there's a little bit for everybody to connect with. Like, I might be a little bit more introverted, and I guess kind of like Mikey, whereas Mouth is like, there's so few people like that.
Yes.
Or data for that matter. There might be some kids out there who really connect with
Yeah,
that.
Mouth has no filter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And so, no, it's a very good point you're making, though, is that there is a little bit of something for everybody to connect to in this movie.
Yeah,
So-
it's great. And even just watching it, because my copy's in Rhode Island still, and I started watching my minutes that you sent me, and then watched a half hour of the movie by scrolling through the minutes.
Oh, really?
Like, I watched a half hour of the movie minute by minute because I was like, I forgot how good this movie was and all the tiny little subtleties they give all the characters. And you feel like you're hanging out with your friends, not in like a cheesy, like, oh my God, these are all my friends. But you forget how well you knew these characters.
Yeah,
Because
that
they're
works.
written so well.
And, you know, there's something that, a point that Scott Corelli of Back to the Future Minute made when he was on Ghostbusters Minute, in that Ghostbusters it's kind of a hangout movie as much as it is something else. And
Yeah.
then I think that kind of applies here. I mean, this movie is just relentless. It keeps moving, it keeps moving, it keeps moving. But you're hanging out with these people at the same time.
Yes.
So I don't really have a whole lot going on in this minute, except that Corey Feldman, I have two notes really. And one is, it's great that you see Mouth kind of gearing up to screw with Rosalita when Mrs. Walsh is sitting there and she's like,
Well, she walks in and she already has the Spanish translate book in her hand.
yeah, I saw that. But you can, if you watch him, he's just sitting there like putting the plan together in his head, and he's just got this devilish grin on his face. It's
Right?
so funny.
And I love when she's like, can you help? And he puts his hands into prayer position and he's like, of course. I would be like, no, you sit down. I do not trust those hands.
Yeah.
It's like the only time that he's like very calm, collected, and she should have known something was up right there when he was so nice and so willing
yeah.
to help.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go back to Rosalita.
Okay.
And think about this poor lady. You know, just a few minutes ago, she was in the middle of the street on the way to meet Mrs. Walsh at this house, and she had a police chase with gunfire just go by her. So she's already like freaked out. And then she walks into this, like she says, crazy house. Can you imagine this woman is probably about to have a nervous breakdown?
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, that poor lady, it's just so funny what he ends up doing to her.
Yeah. What a jackass kid, man.
I can remember being younger and watching this, and while he's doing that, I was like, oh, no, you're not. Oh my God. I was like, you're going to get in so much trouble if they find out what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah, to say the least.
And then watching it as I'm older, that to me was one of the most funny parts.
Oh yeah,
Right?
But
absolutely.
it's funny how it evolves as you watch it as an older person.
See, and what's funny is that we've talked ad nauseum about how this sophisticated this movie is, and that the jokes and things that it's making here in a children's film are so edgy.
It's so interesting, and then as funny as an adventure film that it is, the serious undertones that it has and what it means for these kids that they could actually lose their house.
Yeah. Because that's your life. Like I said before, you have this tiny bubble as a kid, and when your bubble is infiltrated, it's the worst. And I've moved more times than I can count. And all it is now is annoying. But when you're a kid, it's the end of the world. Even if you're just moving up the street, you're like, oh my gosh, what's my room going to be like? What's the house going to sound like? What bus am I going to take? Am I going to have to sit with the weirdo on the bus on the way to school? Oh, you have all that stuff to worry about.
Yeah. I don't think my family really ever moved. We moved, it was in the same neighborhood, so it was like a few blocks away or whatever. But you are right. Even though it's not gonna be that far of a distance, it's still earth shattering. So
Yeah.
because it's your house, it's your home, it's your bedroom, it's your backyard, it's your treehouse, all of that. And so these kids aren't just being told that they're gonna have to like leave all that behind. This is all gonna be demolished. And the only time, whenever you come back to see it one day, it's gonna be a golf course.
Yep.
This is all. You're not just having to move, man. Your memories, everything is being bulldozed.
I was so lucky growing up that we had one house, and most of my friends stayed around. I just can't imagine. But my dad, he moved like 10 times.
Oh, really?
As a kid.
Yeah.
So it's something that I can only imagine how difficult that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then again,
I moved once when I was 4, and then I moved again when I was 15, and then when college happened, I moved every like 6 months.
I can imagine the 15 might have been difficult.
Yeah.
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 And that was pretty much just up the road.
Okay.
But even still.
But yeah.
Even still.
My favorite thing in the world is trying to listen to Chunk with his mouth full.
Oh gosh, I have notes on that too. Go ahead. Yeah, that's...
He's like, do you think your mom's gonna notice? What? Do you think she's gonna notice that the dick is gone? And it's like the funniest thing. It's just such a good way to see who he is.
Oh, it's classic.
Yeah. Jeff Cohen's performance as Chunk is just.
Oh man, I hate when my girlfriend tries to talk with her mouth full. It's like it makes me so mad because it's like, why can't I understand you?
Right?
And
it's
I was
not even about the manners.
Yeah, it made me start laughing when I saw it again. It's like, what? Listen to this guy.
Yeah.
I also love that in the version you sent me, there's subtitles for "Do you think your mom's gonna notice?"
Yeah.
But not subtitles for that the dick is gone.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's so weird. Oh my God.
It's
Chris.
so funny.
No, that's all I have for this minute.
Okay, Crystal,
Yeah.
how about you?
I like the gravity boots that he has,
That.
that Josh has.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, Brent. Yeah.
I'm on a first name basis with him. We're besties.
Yeah, no, those are pretty cool. I love how he's just constantly moving from exercise machine to exercise machine to exercise
With
machine.
his Richard Simmons sweating to the oldies outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Right? With the
Goodness
sweatpants
gracious.
and shorts. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like I see like the shorts over the sweatpants. You know, you go through college campus and you might see girls wearing that over yoga pants. But I mean, I haven't seen a guy wear that in a
dude
long
walking around,
time.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for minute number 10, but be sure to come back and check out minute number 11 tomorrow. Crystal, thank you so much for coming to help out today. Are you going to be able to make it in tomorrow?
Oh, I think I can clear my schedule to do that.
All right, awesome. All right, everybody. Well, tune back in tomorrow. I'm Brady.
This is Chris.
I'm Crystal.
There we go. All right, everybody. Take it easy, and remember, Goonies never say die. Goonies Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the show, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can find us at GooniesMinute.com, Facebook.com/GooniesMinute, Twitter.com/GooniesMinute, and at Instagram @GooniesMinute. You can contact us at GooniesMinute@gmail.com. You've been listening to a Pele Media podcast. For premium content and exclusive podcasts, visit us at patreon.com/PeleMedia. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/PeleMedia and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/PeleMedia.